and I won't back down. Hey, baby, there ain't no easy way out.
Hey everybody, thanks so much for joining us right here on The Right View. What a show tonight. Just you wait for our special guest. We're so excited. Before we start, let me tell you about one of our sponsors, Balance of Nature. If you know anything about me, you know how seriously I take my health. One of the ways I stay healthy is by taking Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule. They have an amazing story of how this product was developed by Dr. Douglas Howard. They have received over 1,000 success stories every single month. They have hundreds of thousands of customers who have purchased billions of capsules of their fruits and veggies over the past 20 years. And you can check all that information out on their website. Their products are gluten-free and non-GMO, and they contain no added sugars or synthetics. If you're looking for something to make you feel better naturally, you should definitely give Balance of Nature a try. In fact, you can order today. And whether you order online or call them direct, you can use the promo code Lara to get a special offer of 35% off, plus $10 off any additional sets, plus free shipping and their money back guarantee. You can call them at 800-246-8751 and use discount code Lara, or order online at balanceofnature.com and use discount code LARA to get 35% off. Tonight, she doesn't even need an introduction because you guys know her. She's a former college athlete and now host of the Gains for Girls podcast on Outkick. Riley Gaines. Riley, gosh, you went from like very little, I'm sure very few people bothering you when you walk through an airport, that sort of thing, to just like literally blowing up the scene. You kind of blew up the sports world in an incredibly necessary way. Obviously, people know you for speaking out against men competing in women's sports because it's total insanity. You were personally a victim of it. And I just want you to share with the audience, there's been a lot of news over the past week about a lawsuit that I think you spearheaded. Tell us about it.
Yes. Well, first and foremost, thank you so much for having me on. It is truly an honor to be able to talk with you.
Oh, thank you.
But yeah, what a whirlwind of a past 2 years or so it's been.
Yeah.
You're exactly right in saying that this is never a position that I was prepared for, never a position that I wanted. Nevertheless, a position I would have imagined myself or anyone in. What a crazy idea that we have to defend this now, 52 years since Title IX's implementation. But we do. It's necessary and it's urgent that we do such. And so you said it. We have officially filed a lawsuit against the NCAA, which for so long, right? Like it's what the other side, the opposition, the left does so well, is they are sue happy. We have seen, for example, like Letitia James, we have seen how she has gone after President Trump. She's going after Executive Bruce Blakeman right now in New York for implementing an executive order that bans men from competing in women's sports. She's going after a cake shop in Colorado. The left does this so well. And so for so long, I thought, someone should sue the NCAA. And then I kind of felt God tapping on my shoulder and he's like, hey, it's you. You should sue the NCAA. So it's been a cool process. This lawsuit has 15 other athletes signed on. We have Olympians. We have girls who have been, of course, adversely impacted, who have lost out on national titles, who have lost out on roster spots and scholarships, championship titles, places on the podium because of men. So we are hoping that, of course, this is a successful lawsuit. Of course, the objective is to, reinforce Title IX and its original intent. The NCAA, they have pretty badly harmed women. But the most important piece of this lawsuit and what we're advocating for, what we want, is fair and safe competition in sports, not even just women's sports. So that's the objective. Super, super crazy process.
Yeah, I mean, the fact, Riley, that you even had to go to this length, sort of like you just said, I mean, you look back a decade ago, people would have never believed we would be in a place in the United States of America where you literally have to file a lawsuit to ensure fairness in sports. Like that is so basic. And you talk about Title IX, and it's so amazing to me to see all of the former feminists, these women who I'm sure fought so hard to make it equal, to give women the same ability to play sports and participate in sports as men. And here some of these people are now on the other side of this argument, and I don't get it. I don't get how you think it's positive for women to allow men to take our spot in sports. And you say all these reasons why it is problematic and why you are suing the NCAA. And thank you for doing so. I think about my own daughter who's 4 years old, and sports were such a huge part of my upbringing. And I think about the opportunities, the people I met, the things that it ultimately led me to, and the path it led me down. And if not for that, where would I be today? And as you just said, women are losing out on spots on teams, scholarships, major life-changing opportunities because of this total lunacy. So I don't think any of us ever imagined we'd find ourselves in a spot like this. But you're the one, Riley, who really got people to pay attention. And you say you felt God tapping on your shoulder about this lawsuit. You must have felt it about speaking out as well, because man, believe me, no one knows better than those of us in our family. When you speak out against some of this stuff, as wild and crazy and obviously wrong as some of these things are, they come after you, right? The folks on the left, people in the media, you get immediately attacked, called all sorts of names, labeled as a certain person that you are obviously not. How was that initial process for you? I imagine when it all first started happening for you, you were probably immediately taken aback and I'm sure upset. But did you try to initially ignore it? Because I'm sure people were like, hey, you can't talk about this. How was the initial process for you with all of this?
Well, I'll be honest, I was terrified at first, based off of just what our universities had told us, right? Like they told us we would never get a job if we spoke out about this, and we would never get into grad school, and you'd lose all your friends, you would lose your scholarship and your playing time. We had to go to mandatory training where they brought in an outside professional and taught us how to use pronouns. So, I mean, just imagine 21-year-old senior in college, and they're teaching me how to use she, her pronouns. Wow. All of these things, I could keep going really on how this really stifled our speech, but all of those things attributed to an insurmountable amount of pressure. And really it scared me. I didn't want to be seen as disrespectful or as mean or as any of the words that they were using. But I pretty quickly realized after taking that initial step that there was so much more support than anything negative. The amount of private messages I got daily, from parents, from coaches, from athletes themselves, professional athletes, very well-known athletes who you and I and everyone listening to this knows, who said, thank you for doing what you're doing. You keep taking those arrows. I can't help you because I have sponsorships or endorsements or some other, I have to provide for my family. I'm the breadwinner, but you keep taking the arrows. And at first I was sympathetic towards this. I understood because again, the threats and the risk, they're real. Yeah. But I pretty quickly lost sympathy because I just reached this point and understanding where silence is complicity. And the people who, if you're not willing to condemn something, you're condoning it. So those people who know it's wrong, who are choosing to stay silent, they're honestly a part of the problem and have contributed to why and how we got to where we are now. But just to your point, the support that I've received is tenfold anything negative, but that does not mean that the negative is not there.
What has happened? I mean, how was it immediately after when you finally were like, I can't be silent? Was there some immediate backlash for you?
Yeah. And it's your standard stuff, right? Like it's people saying I was transphobic or homophobic or racist or white supremacist or domestic terrorist or fascist or whatever other word they can think of to try and scare me, honestly. And again, like I mentioned, like I know myself, and of course I'm not transphobic. That would imply one, that I'm scared of people who identify as trans, and that's simply not the case. And to say someone is racist for this stance, that doesn't make much sense. I mean,
They throw it out, Riley. They throw that one out as immediately. That doesn't even have to have anything to do with race. They love to throw that around because that scares people. And that what you're saying is right. The goal, I think, oftentimes is just to find any way to shut you up and shut you down. And that's why they come out and go crazy and go hard at you like this. And for people like yourself who have the backbone to say, hey, I know I'm none of these things. I know I'm right. I'm not apologizing for my stance on this. Man, does that give strength to so many other people out there. And I'm sure you hear that time and time again, but truly, really powerful, really incredible that you were able to withstand, even those initial things. Because I know whenever it comes at you at first, it's a lot. It's so hard to hear some of those things, regardless of the fact none of them are true.
No, it is. And, even in terms of I've been spit on, I've had people
oh my God.
throw glass bottles at me. I've been assaulted and punched, by these men who are wearing dresses, which fortunately for me, their punches really don't hurt that bad. They held me for ransom through the night in San Francisco for hours.
That's right, yeah.
Demanding that if I wanted to make it home to see my family safely again, I had to pay them money. All the while the police are being held for ransom with me. I'm like looking at the police. I'm like, I'm pretty sure we're being held against our will. I'm pretty sure we called that kidnapping. Can't you do something? And to which they responded with, no, we're actually not allowed to be seen as anything other than an ally to this community or we'll lose our jobs.
Oh my God.
Again, the same community who's on the other side of the door, calling them racist pigs for protecting a white girl like me. I've had people showing up at my house. I've had people find out which hotel room I'm staying at and stake out for hours and hours and hours. So again, not going to say that I haven't been subjected to some craziness and to some hostility and to some violence, honestly. But the support, it really is tenfold. And as someone who is good at keeping perspective, that's what it's about. That's what that's who we fight for, are those people who haven't yet found their own voice.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I want to ask you actually about Caitlyn Jenner, but we're going to take a quick break. Everybody stay with us. All right. I hate to interrupt this interview, but I need to tell you about AMAC. AMAC is an organization dedicated to America's seniors, but is vital for conservatives of all ages. AMAC stands out by not only advocating for senior issues, but also by pushing for conservative values that affect us all. By joining, you're not just supporting our senior citizens, you're part of a movement defending our freedoms and securing our nation's future. As a member, you can enjoy benefits tailored to you, exclusive discounts, trusted news, sweepstakes, and much more, regardless of your age. If you're driven to preserve freedom, AMAC welcomes you. This is about uniting youthful vigor with the wisdom of experience in our quest for conservative principles. You can sign up now at amac.us/Lara, and for a limited time, get free gift membership for someone who shares your love for our great nation as well. Don't miss out on this chance to make a difference with AMAC. Join today at amac.us/LARA and extend the invitation to a friend or family member for free. Mike Lindell has a passion to help you get the best sleep of your life. After he invented the world's best pillow, he then created the famous Giza Dream Sheets. These are the best sheets you will ever sleep on. And for a limited time, you can get a queen set for just $59.98, a king size set just $69.98. This is the lowest price in history. Mike and MyPillow continue to be canceled by big box stores and attacked by the media. They appreciate all of your great support during these times and want to thank you by giving you free shipping on your entire order. To get these specials, go to mypillow.com or call 800-624-3945 and use the promo code TRUMP. You get the famous Giza Dream Sheets, queen size for $59.98 and king size just $69.98. You will also get 60% off the original My Slippers. So call 800-624-3945 or go to mypillow.com, promo code TRUMP for free shipping today. So what's interesting to me, Riley, is that obviously, like you're saying, people label you as transphobic. That's not the case. You said it yourself. And I think anyone who tries to construe those of us who say men competing in women's sports is not fair, it is not safe, it is not appropriate in any way. We're not talking about the fact that these people have chosen to live their life a certain way. That has nothing to do with it. It's about us as women, and it's about the women who are the athletes. And I think a great example of that is Caitlyn Jenner. Caitlyn Jenner, obviously formerly Bruce Jenner, was one of the greatest athletes in the world, an Olympian. And as a trans woman, I don't even know how you label, but right, trans woman. So Bruce is now Caitlyn, right? Coming out, and Caitlyn has been very strong on this. There should be no men competing in women's sports. This is coming from a trans individual. So the idea that you have to choose one or the other is a false narrative. You don't. You can be supportive of adults making decisions for themselves. I'm all about a happy society is a good society. And if you want to identify as something and you're not harming anyone else and you're of an age that you can make that decision, you go for it, sweetie. You do whatever, you do you. I want people to be happy and live their life however they choose. But the fact that you have Caitlyn Jenner coming out and saying, Riley, this has nothing to do with being transphobic. This is about what is right and what is fair. And I just want to, again, applaud you for the lawsuit, because you're right. The left does it so well. People on the left have for decades now sought out lawsuits as a means to reach whatever their goals are. And I feel like on the conservative side of the aisle, typically don't like to go down that path. We're at a place where we have to do it. We have to stand up. We have to fight. So again, I just want to say thank you, applaud you for doing that. We are very closely watching, I think, like a lot of people, what's going to happen with that. But I'm very curious about you. Obviously, people know you as an athlete because that's how this all started for you. But say none of this ever transpired and your life was down the path that it kind of started before any of this happened. Where would you be right now? What would Riley Gaines be doing right now?
I would be in, I guess I would have 2 more years left of dental school. So that's what I was set to do, was to be a dentist, actually to specialize in endodontics, which weirdly enough is root canals.
God bless.
So I know, right? I kind of justify God's calling by, being an athlete, you like set goals and you work to achieve those goals. And my whole college career, like I had worked to getting into grad school, becoming a dentist. And so when I was kind of straying from this path, I felt like I had to justify this somehow. And I justify it now by saying I'm still working on getting to the root of the problem coming out of people's mouths. So it's kind of still like root canal. And honestly,
touche. Look at you. I love it.
As painful as one. But look, Laura, I had no idea. And I'm kind of ashamed to admit this. Like, I had no idea about our government. I never had to take a government course. I never had to take a history course. I took like 9th grade history in high school, but I didn't have a good understanding of our civil process or civics in general, right? Like I knew we had 3 branches. I didn't know what they did. I still don't really know if I know what they do. I don't even think half the time they really know what they do.
Oh, that's the truth.
I didn't have to, my public speaking courses in college, my face turned the color of a tomato. So I did not feel prepared for this situation that I was kind of thrust into. But again, I understood pretty quickly that God doesn't call the equipped, he equips the called. And if he brings you to it, he will certainly bring you through it. So I would happily be a dentist. That was what was safe and secure. Also in my senior year of college, I had married my wonderful husband. It would have been really easy for me, honestly, to essentially ride off into the sunset with the plans that I had.
Turn a blind eye, not speak up, go down that path, all of those things. Now I hear, and by the way, that's what I really think is fantastic, because sometimes that easy path, deep down in your gut is not the way you're supposed to go. And so here you are, you burst on the scene, you really made a splash, you've really made a big difference and a dent in this problem that felt like for a lot of people, it had just gotten out of control so quickly. People looked around and they were like, what the hell is going on here? And so now, obviously, we see you on TV a lot. I assume you're doing a lot of public speaking. You also have a podcast, Gains for Girls. Tell us about it, and why was that important for you to start?
Yeah, it's fun to be on the other side of things. What the podcast does, who we talk to policy experts, we talk to world leading scientists, we talk to athletes or people in general who have been adversely impacted by the gender ideology movement. Really, a lot of these cultural issues that seem to be plaguing this country. So that's been a lot of fun. I just wrote a book, which was a crazy process, which is called Swimming Against the Current. Still doing a lot of work in different states, basically a lobbyist, developing and implementing and writing bills, teaching legislators how to talk about these bills. Had a pretty big success in Mississippi just last week, where HB 1607, which is their Women's Bill of Rights, which is, I can't even believe it's necessary, Laura. It's a piece of legislation that defines and codifies the word woman in law.
Oh my God.
I know,
Wow.
I know, but it's necessary.
Send it to the Supreme Court. There's someone over there who could probably use a lesson in that.
Isn't that the truth? Hey, but she's not
Wow.
a biologist, right?
That's right. Amazing. Well, you've got, I mean, girl, you've got a lot going on. What is your book about, Swimming Against the Current?
Goodness, it is I guess, in-depth, I guess, the experience of what myself and my teammates and my competitors went through. But certainly not limited to just, the unfair competition and the locker room and the silencing that we face. A lot broader than that, the impact that's been had, other examples of how this continues to happen and what we as everyday Americans, as consumers, as parents, as coaches, what we can do about this.
Yeah, I think people want a way to make a difference. I think a lot of people feel like, oh, I'm just one person. What can I do? But we can all do something. What do you say to people when they ask you that, though? Because I'm sure you meet people and they say, I don't know what I can do. How can I make a difference? How can I fight back? I mean, these things are so basic. This is such common sense. But what do you tell people when they ask you, how can they be supportive?
First and foremost, I think the most effective way that everyday people can make a change is with their dollars, because what we've seen is this movement, the gender ideology movement, whether it's the medicalization side of things, whether it's academia, whether it's the media, every single realm of this issue is entirely driven by money, right? As we saw with Bud Light, for example, who lost $27 billion. The next commercial was a big burly man on a motorcycle with a camel can. So where we put our dollars, it matters. So I would just suggest to everyday people, stop giving your money to people who hate you, quite frankly. It's important. That's how we make change. I think what we need to see is more parents who are willing to defend their daughters. And honestly, not just that. Men, you're not in the clear here. We need parents to teach their sons masculinity, how to be strong men. I think that's why, other than the fact that we live in a godly society, I think that our nation is quickly declining because we have weak male leadership, starting at the tippy top, starting at the people in the White House right now. We have a weak, spineless, morally bankrupt president. And it, of course, stems all the way down. Even our spiritual leaders, our leaders in corporate America, again, academia, every realm, we are suffering as a nation from weak leadership, which is why it's crucial we get a new administration in the White House.
Amen. Amen, Riley. Let's go.
So that's what we need to see. We need to see more parents. We just need to see more people talking about this and not walking on eggshells and pandering. There's so much pandering going on because, again, no one wants to be mean, but I will be the first to tell you, they throw around these words like compassion and inclusion. It is not compassionate to ask a young girl to undress in front of a man. And it is not inclusive to ask us as women to smile and step aside and allow these men onto our podiums. That's not inclusion. That's exclusion. And it is exclusive to the very female athletes who the women's sporting category was created to celebrate and protect. So don't let them trick you with the words that they use, because they don't have the accurate definitions of them anymore. Those are long gone.
That's the truth. And you're making sure they know the definition down in the South with the bill there, which I think is great. And I love that you say this about masculine men, because it's something I think about all the time. I have a son and I have a daughter, and I want my son to know it's okay to grow up to be a masculine man. There's nothing wrong with that. We all look, they love to say gender doesn't exist, but there's really basic stuff here. And I am a very strong-minded woman. Obviously, no doubt I can say whatever I think, and I have no problem with it. But I also enjoy being feminine. I also enjoy the fact that I am a woman, and I love aspects of that. And likewise, men should feel proud of the fact that they're men as well and not shy away from that. It's crazy, Riley, that we exist in this place. But here we are, 2024, and I think you're right. All the way up to the top of and we'll put in air quotes, leadership, because I mean,
come on,
it's a rough go. Yeah, it's a rough go over there at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. We're working hard to change that, certainly in the Trump family, at the Trump campaign, and the RNC. So again, listen, you're such a class act. Thank you for all that you've done, all you continue to do. I know it's been a quick rise, and that can be heavy and a lot to carry, but you do it so elegantly and gracefully. And truly, as another woman, as a fellow athlete, thank you for doing what you're doing for right now. For women who haven't even been born yet, but will hopefully one day look back on this time and say, man, that was crazy. Thank goodness there were some people willing to stand up, speak out, and do the right thing here for us. You're amazing. How can people stay up to date with what's going on with you? Where can they find you?
You can find my X account, which is Riley_Gaines_. I'm the director of the Riley Gaines Center, which you can find at RileyGainesCenter.org. And again, thank you and your family for your leadership. I could not be more excited for you and your new position. There's no one more deserving and who will work harder and just really excel in this and propagate us all forward than you. And so we are so excited and we'll be cheering you on and just appreciating you. So thank you.
Well, you're the greatest. Thanks, Riley. Riley Gaines. What an incredible woman. This is just the beginning for you, girl. I can just tell already. We're going to hear a lot from you to come. So we will be watching. Thank you for joining us here at The Right View. To everybody at home, as always, thank you for joining us. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, and follow. We'll see you back here next time for more.
And I won't back down. Hey, baby, there ain't no easy way out.
Nothing is worse than being on a phone call that drops. Nothing is worse than trying to text someone and you can't reach them because your phone is out of service range. And nothing is worse than supporting these major corporations and companies who don't support us. That is why I love Patriot Mobile. They are America's only Christian conservative wireless network. They use every cell tower out there available to all networks so that they have the greatest 4G and 5G coverage nationwide, and they support the causes that are important to us as conservatives. If you go today to patriotmobile.com/Lara Trump and use the promo code Trump, you will get free activation today. Again, that is patriotmobile.com/Lara Trump. The promo code is Trump for free activation so that you can get a great cell plan and feel good about doing it.